celebrities, and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back, and look who I have back with me again. How are you, Ika?
I'm good. Oh my gosh. First of all, let me apologize because last week I wasn't here again, and I promise from this point on I'll be consistent and I'll show up here.
No. For anyone, just while we wait for people to get in the room, guys, make sure to smash that like button. But for anyone watching, you probably already know this because Ika and her man, they've posted about their house. They're moving. They have a transition period happening right now. And I just did this in October, moving from Los Angeles to West Palm Beach, Florida. And it was a shit show. I had all of my family involved, driving across the country, 2 dogs. It was chaos. So I completely respect anybody going through a move. It takes so much, especially you're going into a big, beautiful house. Like, a lot to do.
Oh, thank you for understanding. No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
My gosh. Well, I know that you've been busy, but have you been able to catch any of the episodes recently?
I watched it this morning because I knew I was coming on the show. So I watched it this morning as I was getting ready.
Oh my gosh. It's kind of crazy. I'm sort of happy. We're about to, I guess, go through the whole episode, but I'm happy that we're moving on from the Brandi being completely ignorant to Dr. Tiffany Moon. And now it's just kind of other problems are arising, like between Deandra and Brandi. But it seems like Brandi really just has a habit of sticking her foot in her mouth. I never really noticed it before this season. It just seems like it's like a bad roller coaster or Ferris wheel that she can't get off of.
Yeah. Brandi has moved on from Tiffany and now she's on Deandra's bad side is what I'm seeing. Yeah, you know what? It's crazy because for this episode, Cary kind of got into my good graces a little bit, but Brandi is still on the outs for now.
Yeah, I'm actually starting to like Cary a little. At first, I'm not going to lie. I don't want to be like so judgmental, but she came off really annoying and naggy at the beginning of this season. And now we're starting to see a different side of her where she's just letting us into her family, letting us into what it was like for her as a child. She's trying to make things right with her daughters. It's more of an endearing side, I guess you could say. And honestly, it's relatable. Like when she's sitting there talking with her daughters about, I hope that I didn't put you guys in the middle throughout the divorce. And I hope that, this didn't affect you that much. Her daughters are mature. They're like, well, it did affect us, but we're glad that we're talking about it. We're glad that we're able to move on and have this open dialogue. And this is something that kind of hit home for me. My parents have been divorced collectively over 9 times, and I would get a new family. And then when they would come, you get used to this family. And then all of a sudden things get a little bit tumultuous, fights happen. You feel like you're in the middle. Everything starts breaking apart to where I eventually built this sort of shell where when we would get a new family, I just got to the point where I was like, okay, listen, you're not my mom. You're not my dad. This is my bedroom. I'm not sharing shit with your kids. Like this is how it goes. And I became like this sort of little brat because I just was over it.
So who got married and divorced 9 times? Like the combination of both of your parents just went through marriage. You know what? They were trying to find the right one.
Yeah, see, I'm not faulting them at all. If you have to keep on trying until you get it right? You're not going to get everything right the first time. I think Mark Cuban said that from Shark Tank. He said, whether it's your job, your career, your relationship, it's okay if you don't get it right the first time. The point is you have to keep trying, and then eventually, hopefully you do. And I believe my parents have it right this time, and I don't hold any resentment. It's just I can totally understand being stuck in the middle, and that's kind of an awful place to be.
Yeah, no, for sure. For me, my parents split up when I was like really, really young. My mom remarried, and that's really, it ended there.
Did you ever feel like you were stuck in the middle?
No, I think for me it was a little different because I was born in Jamaica and my mom lived here in Canada. So I grew up with my dad and my grandma. And then she was like, okay, I'm taking her now. So I moved to Canada. Yeah. And then
she just came and took you?
Well, she kind of like moved here for a better life, and then she worked and, and saved up enough money to say, okay, I'll take her back. Like she left when I was around like 3, and I moved here when I was 11. So it a huge gap. For me, it was hard adjusting to her and her husband. It wasn't so much like adjusting to Indica, like, you know, oh, it's a brand new family with brand new kids. It was a whole different lifestyle. I was like, oh, okay, is this what we're doing now? Okay.
Yeah. Well, now looking back, do you wish that would have went any other way? Or are you happy that your mom ended up kind of saying, okay, well, I'm ready for her to come to Canada? Or do you wish you would have stayed in Jamaica?
You know, I wish I had more family here. It was a really hard adjustment, but lots and lots of, I'm not quite sure about American immigrants, but lots of Canadian immigrants do that. Like especially in Jamaica, they leave their kids to like work for years and then to like find a better life. And then they apply for them to come to a better country. And then they have to leave the home that they know and the people that kind of raised them to this brand new country, and meeting pretty much her for the first time. I had no like memory of her at all.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, I mean, I love Canada and I love the life I have, but it was really hard not seeing my friends and my family and like my cousins and stuff like that.
See, and I know, guys, and we are here to talk about Dallas. We will jump into
it.
We will. But I do want to just say this too. It kind of helped me, since we're talking about it. It helped me since we moved so much. I went to, I think it was 13 different schools, kind of like Dr. Tiffany Moon, just kind of constantly moving. And it, again, going back to having this shell, it just made me so independent where I didn't really have a whole lot of friends. I had my brothers and sisters and I just relied on that. And then as soon as I turned into an adult, I was like, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm moving across the country to Los Angeles. Bye, guys. And then I disappeared for 7 years. And now finally I'm back, and I'm kind of like, it's just mass family. They're always like, hey, Adam, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? Hey, Adam, what are you doing this weekend? I'm like, stop calling me. But that's not fair either. I have to get used to having them around again.
Yeah, it's just a balance, I guess, of finding it. Yeah, I know. Family's tough.
Family is tough.
Mm-hmm.
Family's tough. So with that, I want to talk about, we started this episode off where Tiffany invites Cary and Deandra over to her big, beautiful house. I'm obsessed with this house. And she wants to have a conversation with them about Tiffany's birthday party. Tiffany's birthday party went way left at the end because Deandra and her mom, Mama D, who legit doesn't give a rip, and she'll let everyone know that, she gets into an altercation with her over a last name change. Her last name used to be Calloway, but she changed her last name when she turned 18 to Simmons. Well, Deandra swears that she changed her last name as kind of an ode to her stepfather who raised her, who was instrumental in her life. But Mama D's calling her out saying, no, girl, you changed your last name for better opportunities. You got to work for the president of Saks. You got to work in the White House. Simmons is literally on schools, hospitals, everywhere in Dallas. That's why you changed your last name. She didn't like that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't like it either if I got called out like that in front of women who are, some are friends and some are foes. So I wouldn't like it either. But Mama D was like, girl, you know why you did it.
Yeah,
why.
She's like, she's like, I'm not holding back just because you don't like some of these girls. You think they're going to use something against you. Own your truth. The way I remember that conversation is you said you thought you wanted to change your name because it would provide better opportunities for you. And honestly, I'm kind of with Mama D, though. If you make a decision, stand in your truth. You decided to change your name because it might open some doors for you, and that's what it did. Hey, just own it. You've had a great life because of it, right? Or no?
Yeah, I think so. I'm confused. Did she get her biological dad's inheritance?
Mm-hmm.
Or, because that's where it was for me. How are you going to change the last name and then,
still take the inheritance? And that's why we see her in the season trying to make up with her brother and her stepmother, and she's trying to kind of reforge this new relationship since they haven't been talking for years. Because what happened was, when her father passed, the estate, he left 2 wills. Well, one will, I guess, was more ironclad than the other one, because one just said that she gets everything, and that's exactly what she took, was everything. She didn't leave anything for her brother, anything for her stepmother. They honored the will, the first will, that left everything to Deandra, and she still changed her name. And she even addressed it in this episode where she says, I think that's part of the reason my family was upset with me, because they felt after I changed my name from Calloway to Simmons that I wasn't entitled to my father's inheritance. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but you could have at least thrown them a bone, give them half, something.
Yeah, so I thought that, okay, this is what I thought. I thought had left 2 wills, and but I thought she still gave them something. I thought they still, because clearly he made 2 wills because he wanted to protect his second family, right?
Right.
So I thought everybody got something, and they were still just mad that she got more. That's what I thought.
I believe, unless I'm totally wrong, you guys can comment here below. Unless I am wrong,
No, you're probably right because you follow this a lot more than I do.
Well, and even in this conversation, talking about it, she's talking about how upset she is, and Dr. Tiffany Moon is letting her know, listen, like, you need to figure this out. You and your mom have a special relationship where you guys are obviously 2 passionate women. You like to scream at each other. You like to fight it out, hash it out. You love hard, you fight hard, but you need to make it work, because over here, Dr. Tiffany Moon is portraying her mom to us. And I always feel so bad, by the way, for any of the families of these housewives, because the housewives, their job is to come on the show and divulge their life and tell us about the hardships and what was great and what wasn't. And Dr. Tiffany Moon is throwing her mom under the bus a lot in this season, and that can't make her feel good, especially, and we'll get to it later, but when she invites her mom over and her mom actually surprised us and wasn't anything like she explained she would be, it has to be hard for the families to watch and see how their kids think of them, especially, for example, on Real Housewives of Orange County. I did an interview with Bronwyn Wyndham Burke's mom, and Dr. Deb said after watching the first season, she cried her eyes out. She cannot believe that Bronwyn portrayed her like that, and now she refuses to watch anything. She's received so much hate mail. How could you be a bad mother? You're an awful BITC, like terrible. Received death threats. People were going after her because of what Bronwyn was saying about her. And all Bronwyn said was, my mom abandoned me. She left me to kind of figure out life on my own in Laguna Beach. Okay, girl, hard life, Laguna Beach. But you know what I mean? And Dr. Deb's like, I dropped you off at $1 million estate. You were fine.
Yeah, you know what? So I was thinking about that today, actually, when I was watching it. I'm like, okay, Tiffany goes in a lot on her, on her parents and her mom. And I was like, a part of me is like, does she want her parents to watch this back and to be like, okay, I'll like lighten up, and I'll see how she feels, and I'll see how hurt she is, and I will lighten up? Because that's not how it's going to work. They're going to feel really like you're trying to make us look bad. Like, what are you doing? Okay, we get it the first episode and the second episode, but now, like, girl, you need to.
I mean, the slipper at the head for a 1550 on the SAT. I don't even know if I scored over 1,000 on the SAT. I don't know what I scored on the SAT. That damn SAT, I hated it. But she just makes them seem like they were so tough. She called her parents tiger parents. And I did another interview with a woman named Kelly Mee Lee from Bling Empire. Have you seen that on Netflix?
I am obsessed with Bling Empire.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. And she explained what I asked her, because she said that her mom was a tiger mom. And I said, what is a tiger parent or a tiger mom? And she said, well, do you know the definition?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't
know.
No,
wait. I thought you said she asked you if you knew it. So I was waiting for your answer.
No.
No, I don't know. I think a tiger mom is someone who's like really overprotective. Is that what it is?
Well, she said it's a parent who uses negative reinforcements to make you better. So it's like, you got an A on your test. Good for you. You should. You need to do better next time because you got a 98. It's not 100. Like you won your checkers tournament or chess tournament. Well, you need to win 2. Like, nothing is ever good enough. And it's just really raising your child with that negative reinforcement so they do better, as opposed to raising them with love and just kind of letting them know, hey, listen, you can do better next time. And it sounds like a really tough way to grow up.
It's weird because it's very weird because there is like this westernized way of growing up. And being Jamaican, like my family, they're tough. Like we got tough love. but I never not once thought that they didn't love me. Like my grandma, like, you know, like not really my mom, because she didn't really raise me, but like growing up, my grandma wasn't, she would throw a shoe at me if I did something, you know, she want to get up, she'd throw the shoe. So, but I knew, but I knew she loved me. I knew she loved me, even though they're tough, you know that there is so much love there. So I think it's a cultural thing too. I don't get why Tiffany has to know that her parents love her. I mean, she definitely has to know. She has to know. Maybe, you know, Tiffany seems, maybe she's just more westernized. Like she got into this westernized way of thinking about, because that could happen too, where I've lived here now for so long. So so seeing some of my, you know, older family ways, I'm like, wow, that's a little harsh. Like you guys need to, you know, respect my feelings. But I just kind of outgrew how they were. Does that make sense? I can't explain it very well.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I don't want to completely like rip into Dr. Tiffany Moon, because I love having her on this season of the show. But, you know, and I want to point out this. She obviously believes what she's saying, because we can see it in the confessionals. When she's getting choked up and she's starting to cry, she's getting emotional, and she's saying, you know, for immigrant parents who bring their kids over, this is how she said it, you know, they feel like their kids are an investment. But now I feel like I'm really only an investment. I feel like my parents' greatest investment, and not so much as a daughter. And that's rough.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't want to like say all immigrant parents are like this, but definitely if you have immigrant parents, then you know that it just comes with it. Like they will guilt you. Like, you know, I left my life for you. I worked really hard for you. Now it's kind of like your turn to like take care of us. It's like expected kind of thing. That is how it was in my family, in my culture. I'm not saying that's how it is for everybody, right. But they definitely do guilt you, and you can feel like, oh my God, you know, like I'm only here for this. I'm only here for that. I think Tiffany definitely is taking it to heart. She is like, you know, she does see her friends or other moms, you know, who are different, you know, with their kids. Exactly. Mama D is tough, but she supports Deandra. She shows up for Deandra. She's there. And I'm sure Deandra would have complaints about Mama D as well. I mean, we're gonna all have complaints about our own parents. I think Tiffany wants a bit more compassion, some more love. She wants her parents to say, we're so proud of you. Like, you did so good. Thank you. That's all she wants. And I don't know if she's gonna get that.
Which is so funny to me, because it's like we don't have this. We need like a happy median here, or medium, whatever they say, medium, I don't know. Whatever it is, we need that line, because just like you don't want to speak on behalf of all immigrant parents, I don't want to speak on behalf of all American parents. But I feel like a lot of times growing up and watching my friends and myself, you know, our parents are just like, God, we can't wait till you turn 18 and you get your ass out of the house and you figure it out. Figure it out. I don't care. I raised you. I gave you life. I supported you. You didn't pay the bills. I had to feed your ass. Like, and when it's time to turn 18, you better figure it out and go. And it's not really like preaching to us the whole time, like school. Don't go hang out with your friends. Don't do this. You could do better. It's more so like just kind of, okay, how old is this kid now? 6 years old. We have 12 years left. It's going to be a long 12 years. Let's get through this. Like, I feel like it's just a little bit different. That sounds so shitty, but that's how I feel.
I know. I think for immigrant parents, especially because I mean, I wasn't born in this country. My parents were not born in this country. So for parents who move here and they have to like struggle and work really, really hard, they really, you know, like they really are making all those sacrifices for their children. Like they do everything for their kids. They want their kids to have a better life. So they don't want their kids to just sit down and not take advantage of, you know, what they never had. It's like, we, you know, didn't have this and you guys have this right at your fingertips. Like, you need to work hard. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do all those things.
Exactly.
So that's pretty much how it is like in an immigrant household. For me and my kids, it will be different because I grew up here pretty much. So I don't have that. I'm more of the like, okay, like, you know, 18, you could stay and figure it out. But, you know, at 20, I really don't want you here, boo-boo. You got to go.
Yeah, I feel exactly. You know, and getting back to Tiffany Moon too, you have to give it to her. The fact that she really does have it all. And in this episode, she's inviting the women to her family doesn't have one, but 2 hotels. These hotels are like stunning. They look like brand new hotels that just came up in Vegas. And she's like, I want to invite you to a luau party at one of my hotels, where she's going to take out the whole 11th floor because she doesn't want anybody else on it. I mean, I'm not saying they don't deserve it, but you can call it's a privileged life, right? It's a very nice, comfortable life. And just watching her, I'm like, sure, if your mom's not happy with that, you have your own hotels, you have your own wine cellar, you have your own wine, you have your own candles, you have your own little mansion. Like, you're doing fine. You're doing fine, sis. You're good. We got this.
Doing great. I mean, I would tell, if that was my kid, I'd be like, go to work once a week. Like,
yeah. I'd be like, you don't even have to work. You're doing great, sweetie.
You're doing great.
You're just stay home. Stay home with Chloe and Maddie. You're good. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. But the mom, when I did see her mom at out, I was like, of course her mom is going to say it's fine. Of course her mom's going to say, take even 2 days off. Tiffany, I don't know, because, okay, tell me, Adam, do you think she was shocked that her mom was really acting that way? Or do you think she was like, oh my God, I was saying all this stuff and she is not doing what she, like what the hell? Like, hello, be hard on me, be hard.
I think that's what she was doing, because they don't just, listen, they start filming their interviews and the confessionals as they're filming the season. They start kind of integrating them in. So once they feel like they have enough content, maybe like 2 months in, then production's like, okay, they factor in 1 day a week for the women, where they go over to their homes or wherever, and they're like, they just play back the scenes that they're going to be putting onto the show because they've already edited this first part, and then they show it to the women. Then they have them react to it, and then when they react to it, that's what's a part of the confessional. And I feel like exactly what you just said. I think Dr. Tiffany Moon knows that she said all of this up until this point, and then when her mom's sitting across from her and she's like, I think that's great. I think you should spend more time with the girls. I love that. I gave you your hung bao, your red envelope, like, happy to see you. I think you're doing amazing. Like, I think you should take 2 days off. Dr. Tiffany Moon was like, oh shit, she's going to be so upset when she sees everything that I said about her. But that's why you can't stick your foot in your mouth and talk about the family. Talk about somebody else's family, which you shouldn't do that either. But, just don't talk about your own. You have to live with that. These people they're going to be around. You only get one family, unless you're me, and then you get a few, and then you recycle them. But the point is, you get it.
Yeah, I really hope, like, moving forward, that she kind of lays off a little bit, because I don't think she realizes that, I remember so I did Big Brother Canada, okay? And I was talking about my experience, and I think I had said on live feeds, they have live feeds where I said, when I got pregnant at 18, my mom kicked me out, right? So I was just like telling my story. I got kicked out at 18 when I got pregnant. And I mean, there's some people who watch that, and I'm sure she was like mortified, like, oh my God, that was so many years ago and maybe, at that time she felt that way. Maybe because I've not spoken to my mom in a very long time, so I don't know how she feels. I'm just assuming, but I could assume. I remember I ran into a friend and she was like, oh, your mom was like embarrassed because you said that and da 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 da. And so I could only imagine for her mom, who is a part of her life, who has to watch this back and be like, I didn't know you felt this poorly about us, like, over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like,
Yeah, no. And I can kind of relate to that too. After I started my YouTube channel, I interviewed one of the ladies of London, Caroline Stanberry, and she invited me to join her podcast, Divorce Not Dead, when she found out that my parents have had so many divorces. And after that, I went on and I put this out there. And once it came up, I felt so bad because I re-listened to it, and my mom and my dad listened to it, and they were just like, what the hell? And I was like, I'm sorry. And they're like, you just put that out there? And I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, I lived it. And they're like, okay, but you protect the family. You don't just share everything. Yeah. And I was like, I'm a talker. I just share it.
I know, like, we forget that. they have friends, they have people in their lives too who are just like, really, you were out here getting married 10 times? Really, Google? Is that what you were out here doing? And your son was like over it. Like, like you.
Yeah. I now looking back, I'm like, I could have censored myself a little bit more, but I just have to own it and learn from it and just know to do better next time. If there is a next time, I'll just do better with it.
I mean, listen, I feel like, you know what, through sharing your story, there's so many people who are like, oh my God, like I went through that. Like, oh my gosh, okay. It's not too bad. So even though they're a little bit embarrassed about it, I mean, they did it.
Exactly. So, it's just, let's all just stand in our truth and own that.
Exactly.
Like, we're gonna own it. And that's what we do.
Exactly. Oh shit, what happened? Did I get cut off? Is it me?
Hey.
Was that me?
I don't know. I think that was me. Sorry about that, guys.
It's okay. I was trying to plug my laptop in so it wouldn't die. So no, you saw me like going over it.
And the at least people are saying, "Oh my God, I love Ika." We only see you, Ika. We love you. We only see you. Oh, sorry, guys. Well, it gives me a segue to just say, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, hit that like button, because why not? And I guess I want to get back into, since we're talking about these tough conversations, we did talk a little bit about Cary, and Cary had to have a tough conversation with her daughters, and she was letting them know, like, I'm sorry. At a certain point, I put you guys in the middle of a divorce, and we had this conversation before coming on really quick, but, sometimes that happens. And I think that no one is perfect. So I don't really know how parents could navigate a divorce and the kids not feel like they're put in the middle in some capacity, whether it's internal feelings of like, who do I go with? Or if I do this, am I going to, upset mom? Or if I do this, will I upset dad? It's something normal, but I want to applaud the fact that Cary is having an open dialogue with her children, because I think that's important. And to be honest, it's kind of redeemed her for me. I wasn't liking her at the beginning of the season, but this episode changed it for me. I started to like her.
Yeah, I started liking her too in this episode. I really like that she apologizes to her kids, because I apologize to my kids. Like, if I mess up on something, I'm like, oh shit, I need to go apologize. I'm sorry. I was like, okay, there are some people who are great parents and they're not very good friends. Yeah. Maybe Cary is one of those people where she's a really good parent and she loves her. You could just see how much she really does love her children, and she just wants them to feel like she is doing a good job and she's a good mom, and every mom wants that. And it was a different side to her that I really appreciated.
And it was kind of ironic, I guess, to see her, talking about like, my mother, she was an alcoholic and this. And then she gets her mom on the phone and on FaceTime, and her mom's like, I didn't know you felt like that. And I'm like, again, another parent that's just getting like mucked through the mud, like dragged. And the irony in it all is that Cary is our biggest partier on this show. She is the biggest drinker on the show. Her tagline is even, if you're going to take a shot at me, it better be tequila. It's like, that's your tagline. So don't come over here like attacking your mom's sobriety and putting her on blast. Like, you like to have a good time too, sis. It's okay. You know what I mean? Like, have that private conversation. But whatever, I guess it's just what happens when you sign up to be a housewife. Listen, if anyone's out there and you have a family member, a brother or sister, whatever, who's signing up to be a housewife, you better run. You better have them sign an NDA, hide your shit, because they are going to put you on blast in order to get that storyline and that paycheck. And it's awful. I feel like at this point, they'll step on anybody they have to in order to maintain their position. And I don't know, it's a kind of weird how it's all set up. But okay, Cary, we see you. We're applauding you. But Cary's not the only one I want to applaud here. I actually want to talk about Stephanie Hollman for a second. Stephanie wanted to get back into, I guess, charity work, right? She wanted to give back, and she was redoing locker rooms. I have to say, when she first said this, I thought it was kind of silly, because I don't know. I don't want to sound ignorant, but I think because a lot of the schools I went to, like, the lockers were just absolute shit. Like, I didn't go to fancy schools. It wasn't anything nice. Like, I remember I had the most podunk locker that was just like, I would try to like shake it. I actually hit myself. I have a scar like right here from like hitting myself with the locker. So it's like I don't know. I just didn't think anything of the locker thing. And when she took us on the tour, flying private, of course, I love that, the irony of that, and giving back. But when she took us on the tour of the locker room, I was like, wow, you really did the damn thing. You're doing it. It looks good. It honestly, like what Brandi said, it looks like a professional team's locker room. And the kids and the students were so excited about it. It makes them maybe excited to engage in the sports and come to school. That's a cool thing, and that has to make her feel good. And I kind of feel bad for even downplaying the whole idea in the first place.
Yeah, you know what? I was like, when I saw, I'm like, that's really nice of her that she did that. I'm still on the fence with Stephanie, only because I feel like I do think she's in a hard position with Brandi, because Brandi is such a great friend of hers, but I just don't like the enabling and to just not holding her friend, like not sitting her down and just, that. Not holding her accountable or whatever. So like, I did like what she did, and I'll give her that for sure. Hope, her husband was proud of her, because she was doing a lot of it to prove to him that she could do it.
With his money, though. He's like, thank you. This is where you put my money. And she's like, ugh.
Yeah. But so I'm still on the fence here with Stephanie. I don't dislike her, but I don't overtly like her as well.
Okay.
She's just right here for me.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And, even watching this episode, you're right. Stephanie does take up for Brandi a lot, and she holds her hand. But that kind of segues me a little bit into Brandi, because we get to this luau, and the luau was fun. There's fire dancers. Everyone's drunk, having a good time. There's no crickets in the pizza. You have make your own poke station. Like it's her own hotel. And she says it enough that we know it's her own hotel. She's starting to get a little bit like housewifey towards the end of this season, where she's talking about my synthetic hair on fire and my hotel. I'm like, where did this come from? You were a lot more humble the first 2-3 episodes, and now it's starting to come out. We're starting to see this little pretentious side of you.
You know what's funny? That was the biggest shocker for me for this entire episode. The biggest shocker for me was that Tiffany wears synthetic hair. Like, why aren't you wearing human hair? What are you doing?
Is synthetic hair bad to wear?
It's like plastic.
Oh.
Yeah,
I thought you meant it's just like weave. No,
synthetic hair. So you have like this hair right here. This is not synthetic hair, honey.
You're like, if I light it on fire, it's not going.
No, so I was like, you got all that money and you're wearing synthetic hair. Synthetic hair is like plastic. It's like fake. It mimics real hair, but it's not like real hair.
I'm sure there's probably if she heard this right now, she'd probably be like, well, there's a study that shows.
Oh yeah,
that, you know what I mean? She'd be like, this comes with that hair, so I don't really want to put that in my scalp, because I feel like she'd have an answer. But regardless, she is coming out with a little bit more of a pretentious side, but I do love Dr. Tiffany Moon. I think she's the best addition to this franchise. And when they all sit down for dinner, they start talking, and okay, we find out Cameron Westcott is completely clueless. She doesn't know what the electric bill is. She doesn't know what the gardener bill is. She doesn't know what any of the bills are. That is a life. First of all, I just want to say, you just get to walk through life. You get to paint everything pink, like you're Reese Witherspoon and Legally Blonde, and you don't know what a bill looks like. Can I sign up for that?
I was like, okay, girl, do you?
Yeah, you said, especially like in the middle of a global pandemic, people are waiting to be stimillionaires for their stimulus checks. Like people are waiting for their $1,400 here and there, and they're like, oh, we got to feed our families. And then this woman's over here like, oh, my $4 million home, what it takes to operate it, I don't know. I don't pay anything, but I walk my Pomeranian on its own treadmill.
I feel like she is like kind of like Tiffany is playing up this whole like, I'm a housewife, I have all these things. She is the queen of like reminding us that she is like a real housewife. Like, I don't look at bills. I don't do anything.
Yeah.
I see pink. I can't pronounce words.
She's like life is cotton candy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you do you, girl, I guess. But, there was a tough conversation that was had across the table, and that was between Deandra and Brandi because Deandra feels like Brandi was questioning what level of a Christian that Deandra actually is. Brandi was saying that's not what I was trying to do, and I didn't mean that. But Deandra's like, hold on, girl, wait, I'm not done. Here's the pendulum that you gave me. You're over here talking to spirits. You have mediums coming in. You're talking about the devil. You have a little girl that's a ghost that comes and visits you at night. And you're talking about me having a meditation ceremony. I did see the hypocrisy in this, but I was like, at the moment that Deandra looked at her and she said, you're a cafeteria Christian. I was like, oh shit. Here we go. I've never heard that before, a cafeteria Christian.
I mean, I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is either. No.
Can somebody please tell us what a cafeteria Christian is?
That's like that is some Texas stuff. I've never heard of that before. And I didn't even know that was an insult. Like, you just walk up to, can you imagine you're at church and like this woman who doesn't come on Sundays, or she missed last Sunday, and all of a sudden she shows up. There's like that one woman in the church who's like super religious, like you need to be here every week. And she's like, you're a cafeteria Christian. It's like, I don't know if you're insulting me, if that's just a different level of Christian. I'm not really quite sure, but I'll take it.
I couldn't believe. Okay, I was like, I had to rewatch that part like twice. Because I was like, oh wait, a cafeteria Christian is someone that picks and chooses part of the religion that they want to follow. Ooh, okay.
Empire. All right.
Empire's here. Look at you.
Yeah. Look at you, Empire. By the way, guys, I did a Kempire's podcast yesterday. He released the first half of it today. You guys will have to go check it out. And then also the second half comes out Friday. I was listening to my voice and I was like, oh, I really sound like that because I never watched these back. And I was like, oh my gosh, I hate. Do you ever? Yes. Have you ever talked to somebody who listens to themselves back and they hate how they sound?
I hate the way I sound. Like, even if I respond to comments on my YouTube channel, I will put myself on like mute and I will respond to comments. I hate my voice. I just think it's the worst voice ever. I'm like,
that's one, that's not true. And two, that can't be healthy. Like, we're both over here like, no, we hate our voices. Like, that's terrible. We have to, aren't you supposed to show self-love? I don't know. No. But I guess I missed the mark. I don't know. But oh no, you go ahead.
I was going to say, when I watched this scene, I'm like, you guys are on the Real Housewives. And you guys have both, said some things, done some things, and you're going to sit here and talk about who's a better Christian? Really? We're talking the Lord, and right now, right at this very moment, on this platform, on this show. Is that what we're doing? I was shocked. I was like, who? They're talking about, I listen to the Lord and I follow the Lord. Girl, just 2 months ago, you were in a car pulling your eyes back. What are you talking about?
And
where was the Lord?
Oh. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean,
where was the Lord?
I'm probably with Cary here the most, because Cary's sitting here and she's like, listen, one of the 9 commandments, and no disrespect, like at all, like I believe in God, and like I'm not disrespecting anything, and I didn't think it was funny, but I just thought it was more real, as opposed to everyone else who's acting like they're the perfect Christian. Cary's over here like, I'm Christian, but I don't know everything. She didn't even know that there were 10 commandments. So it's like, I think you can kind of resonate a little bit more with her, just knowing that you're not perfect. You're not always doing the right thing, but you're trying to do your best. And then as opposed to, I guess, having Brandi over here who's like, you shouldn't do that, and I don't think you're a real Christian. But like you said, then she's making these stupid videos and she's mocking people and they're racially insensitive. So what the hell is that?
You know what I think? I honestly feel like the real issue here is I do think, because I was putting myself in that position and I was like, are they really arguing over who is a Christian, who's a better Christian? I think the real issue here is, and let me know if you agree, is that, Deandra has this thing where she wants her mom to accept her, and to, kind of like Tiffany, they have the same issue with their moms. She wants more acceptance and more love from her mom. And in this, setting, her mom already thinks that the shaman, or she has her beliefs about it where she probably doesn't really agree with it. And Deandra has her friend there, and her friend is kind of throwing her under the bus to her mom, and she is like, no, like, that's not what you're here to do. Like, you're here to kind of let her know it's okay and it's fine. And I think that was the real issue. The real issue was because imagine if, we're all out and your mom's there or something, and your mom has this belief that whatever you do, this YouTube stuff is just like, oh my God, it's a joke. What is he doing on YouTube? And you have me there, and and you're hoping I'm going to say, no, he does great. It's hard work. And I'm just like, yeah, it's a complete joke. I think to stop. Like, I don't know why he keeps doing it. Like, you would be so upset.
I think you just hit the nail on the head. I think that's exactly what triggered her. I think that she's trying so hard to just have her mom applaud her or be accepted and have what she, like these little quirky things that she does, like she said, she's been on many spiritual journeys where she's changing her religions, or not changing her religion, but just exploring new religions and bringing over a shaman and with the feather and the saging everything. Mama D is like, I don't know what the hell you're doing over here. But she also thinks that it's like, I don't know what Deandra does. She's a little crazy, but just let her do her thing. And Deandra's like, no, Mom, I want you to embrace what I'm doing. But Mama D will never give her that. Mama D is just Mama D. And I think that you're exactly right. She needed Brandi in that moment to say, this was a great experience. Thank you, Deandra. Like, I had a great time. I maybe want to go see a shaman. Instead, she was like, I don't know if that's very Christian of you, because the devil works in mysterious ways. And I'm like, oh, shit, here we go.
Exactly. I feel like that should have been maybe a private conversation she had with her friend. Like, girl, I wasn't really too sure about it, but I'll tell your mama whatever you want me to tell your mama.
Yeah, exactly. And, wrapping up this episode, I am starting to, I think I'm starting to get more interested in it, and I'm changing how I feel about the women. Like, at first I was really against Cary. I still question Brandi because I feel like she's just a little bit of a loose cannon. I really liked Deandra at the beginning, and now I'm kind of like, what are you doing? I'm switching up how I feel about everybody. So I'm curious to see when next week's episode comes out, how I feel, but I don't know. I guess I'm just more excited that we have the Real Housewives of New York coming back, to be honest with you. I'm happy that we have New York and Beverly Hills coming back, and I'm happy that Jersey's good, because Dallas has been okay. Orange County sucked. Like, I'm just happy we have something to look forward to. Have you seen the trailer for New York, by the way?
I have not seen the trailer for New York.
Oh my gosh, you have to go watch it.
Really? Is it good? It's
going to be so good. We have our newbie, Ebony K. Williams, which she's coming in, and she is... You know who Ramona Singer is, right?
Yeah, I know who she is.
Okay. So Ramona Singer has just always put her foot in her mouth. Like, last season, she walks into this big, beautiful villa, and she's like, oh, look at all the servants here. And it's like, that's an ignorant statement. And then this season, it shows in the trailer where she's referring to the staff in her home as the help. And Ebony K. Williams calls her out and says, you using the word the help, or the words the help, that's triggering for me. And Ramona goes, I can't remember everybody's name. And she goes, you know what? Actually, sorry. Here, cheers to the hospitality assistants. And then in another scene, you see where Ebony K. Williams is losing her shit, and she's like, I have more of an education than all of you here. And Luann de Lesseps says, don't come in my house and tell me I don't have an education. She's like, girl, I'll leave your house. I don't have to be here. I'm like, oh God, it's going to be so good. And then Sonia Morgan throws a glass at our other Real Housewives of New York newbie. She's a friend role, so she's kind of like LaToya Ali of Real Housewives of Atlanta, or what Kathy Hilton is going to be on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's going to be heavily involved. She just didn't score an apple. Sonia Morgan screams at her, like slams her glass down and goes after her like she's going to fight her. And I'm like, this does not look good on anyone. So we're going to have to see how it plays out. I love it. You're going to check it out and let me know what you think.
Yes.
But with that, Ika, I've kept you for 45 minutes. It reminds me of that show. We went on this date for 45 minutes. You can either take the $45 or you can go on a second date with me. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that. When was that?
That was MTV's Next, where they would get off the bus and they would just say next, or you would last on the date, and you could either choose the money or you could go on the second date. And a lot of the guys were like real douchey, and they'd be like, you know what? This $45 will buy me a beer and a sandwich. Sorry, girl, I'm out. It's like, what?
$45 they left for $45.
Yeah, they would just leave the date and they wouldn't take the second date. It was just it's funny to watch, but I don't know. It just reminded me of that. I don't mean to get off the beaten path here, but Ika, before we go, for anyone living under a rock, can you let us know where we can find you?
You guys can find me at Dem and Ika here on YouTube, and it's just we do like couples videos.
Yeah, and you're dropping a new video today.
We are. Yes, we are. I have to go like film and edit it.
I was telling Ika before we came on here too, so that's why we have to let Ika go. She's busy, but I was telling her that I have so much respect for the fact that all her videos are so heavily edited. Like they do fun stuff in their videos and they really think them out. Like I mean, your views are amazing. Your subscriber count is amazing. Like I enjoy watching you guys. I think you guys are hilarious. And the way you guys edit and configure your videos, I'm like amazed by it, as opposed to me where I just press live and then
I think
like, video up.
And I was telling Adam, I think this is harder because you literally have, it's like live. I get so scared being live. Do you guys see me stuttering? I'm like, I say 100 times just to like think what I'm saying.
No, I think
like, there is no edit button here.
No, that's true. That's true. And I've been getting called out a little bit more because as time's been going, I started off and I was just so clean with not, like in my everyday life, I'll say something like, damn it, man, or that pisses me off, or shit, what happened? But I'm not like a big, I don't walk through life like my whole vocabulary is just swear words, and swearing. So I don't really do that. And when I first started my channel, I really made an effort to take all of that out. You would never hear me say anything. And now I'm getting a little bit more comfortable and I'll say little things, but you'll never hear me come on here and say like the F word, or I don't get like disgusting or nasty with it, but I still get called out. People are writing me and they're like, part of the reason I really like watching your channel is because you never swear, unlike some of these other disgusting YouTubers, but now you're starting, what happened to you? And I'm like, sorry.
No, you know what? I'll tell you this. You will get those comments. They'll still come back and they'll watch. As you have your channel and you evolve, you're going to get more comfortable, and people should appreciate seeing you feel more comfortable with them and your audience, that you're letting your hair down a little bit and you're being yourself more, you're opening up more. And people always try to micromanage what you do on your own channel. And I promise you this, because I went through it. If you listen to every single person, you won't film anything, because somebody has an issue with everything. Like for us, like, why do you guys do pranks? Oh my God, you're corny YouTubers. Da, 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 da. Oh my, why did you leave TV to go on YouTube? Oh my God, you're broke. Girl, we make a lot more over here on YouTube than we did on TV.
Broke.
Broke.
Oh.
It's everything. Oh, it's every single thing. Oh, this month I'm pregnant. I gained some weight, so I'm pregnant now. If you listen to like every single thing that someone says, I'm not gonna watch your channel anymore because you did this, or because you said that, or because you had this person on. Well, then I guess you weren't really a supporter, and I will I'll still stay hydrated, and I will look fly.
I want to bring these up really quick. Dem and Ika are the best.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I know Cary Palmer. She's always in the comments leaving nice things.
And Theo said, your house doesn't look broke, honey. And then Carpe Diem wants to know, when does your video drop? Okay,
so it should drop today at 6:30.
That was a different time than what you told me earlier. Okay, guys. Well, we have to let Ika go do her video. We're going to be coming back here in about an hour and a half. Instead of Fridays popping off with pops, where we give 100% of the video proceeds back to our vets, we're actually going to be doing it today because I'm leaving out of town on Friday. I didn't want to cancel on pops, and we love supporting a great cause, so we are coming on today. It's going to be a fun conversation. I hope you guys can join us and call in. With that being said, Ika, you're, as always, so amazing. Your house looks beautiful. You look stunning, and I can't wait to see your video today.
Thank you, Adam. Guys, make sure you guys subscribe to Adam's channel, and make sure you like the videos because it helps, It
helps the algorithm.
It helps.
All right, Ika, we'll see you soon.
Bye, guys. Bye, Adam.